couple of interesting results coming in from the banking space as well. The big one first, the country's second largest private lender, that is Axis Bank, has come out with a decent set of numbers today in the fourth quarter. While the margins as well as the net interest income growth of close to 20% has clearly beaten street estimates, the bottom line has seen a very marginal dip of 1%, which had been factored in already in the stock price, it seems. So that's a stock for you, but that is before the market close, and the company's results really came in post-market today. Ekta Batra joins us with all the number crunching on Axis Bank. Ekta.
Well, it was a stable quarter for Axis Bank. NII growth was around 19-odd%. The advances grew healthily over 20-odd%, led by the retail book, and the gross NPLs were maintained at around 1.67%, with slippages largely in line with estimates and aided by recoveries. But really, what the big highlight of Axis Bank numbers was the watch list details, which were reported by the management for the first time ever, with a lot of disclosures in terms of what they expect in terms of stressed assets going forward. Now, what the watch list comprises of includes stressed assets, leverage groups, inconsistent record of payments, rating downgrades, anything that could be a potential stressed asset or gross NPL going forward as per the management. Now, the total watch list amount was around 22,628 crores according to the management, and originated mainly between FY10 and 12, where around 79% of the watch list originated. Now, according to the management, they expect 60% of the watch list accounts to in fact flow into NPAs over the next 8 quarters. The timing of the slippage will be difficult to estimate, but they expect a bias for the first half of FY17. Separately, they expect the PCR, or provision coverage ratio, to be above 70% by end FY17, but we could see some amount of variations in the middle. Now, coming back to the watch list, iron and steel was the maximum amount of the watch list at around 24%, with power at 23%. 25% of outstanding with leverage groups is on the watch list, which is basically a part of that 22,628 crores. 72% of restructured and SDR book is on the watch list according to Axis Bank. Now, there will be no additions made to the watch list, and the bank is going to disclose further details with regards to the movement on the watch list every quarter. Now, based on what they've reported, if you just do the math and divide 60% of the watch list, it comes to around 13,576 crores. Now, based on the guidance that it could possibly flow into the next 8 quarters, if you're working with a worst case scenario, and if you divide this 13,576 crores over the next 8 quarters, then maybe the gross NPL addition could be around 1,600 to 1,700 crores per quarter. If you go with a first half FY17 bias, then maybe the gross NPLs could rise above 3,300 crores for the first half of FY17. Now, remember, these are just assumptions, but the worst case scenario, which seems to be declared by Axis Bank in terms of the loan book of stressed assets, is at around 22,628 crores, which could be potential gross NPL candidates over the next 2 years.